And then now, as we go into the fourth day, David Cameron has held back force. They won't even use water cannons or rubber bullets for 4 days. And now the crime has exploded. The burning has exploded. And there are members of the British Parliament now calling to shoot looters on sight. And I have to say that if you see someone looting your business here in the United States, it is your right to shoot and kill them. And for some that have been domesticated, that is a shocking statement. If you don't have that attitude, you live in a domesticated, prostrate position. And I can't believe so many men have been gelded to the point that they don't understand that. If someone is running around in the city, this is confirmed, lighting fires to family dwellings, that is attempted murder. Women and children have had to jump from burning buildings to firefighters who themselves are being attacked by the looters. And some are calling it extreme to call to arm the fire departments, arm the police, arm the fire departments, arm the citizens. And that's how they first got gun control in England. They said, well, we're not even going to let cops have guns. And then, of course, citizens shouldn't be able to. And then, voila, they then arm the police. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is not knee-jerk reaction to call for shooting people that are setting fires to buildings. And people ask me, they say, how can you have an article like knee-jerk calls for army on London streets to shoot looters on sight? Because there isn't prior constraint on my writers. There isn't prior constraint. There's no prior constraint on me. I have people that I know have researched, understand geopolitical situations. But then you get a cultural divide, though, with somebody who's a degreed political scientist like Steve Watson, born and bred in England, who thinks it's shocking to see a member of parliament say, this is into day 4, they're burning people's houses down, shoot them. Folks, if the police started shooting people day 1, this would have ended overnight. But it shouldn't be the police shooting them. In a free society, you come to my house and try to set fire to it, or I see you throwing Molotov cocktails at my neighbor's house, I am going to kneel down, put the sight on you, and squeeze the trigger. But see, people don't do this type of stuff in Texas. They don't do this type of stuff in Oklahoma. They don't do this type of stuff in Vermont or New Hampshire or Alabama. Because you come and try to burn somebody's house down, you die. We'll be right back. You know, if you're watching us on prisonplanet.tv as we stream the radio show in living color, you could see the footage we're about to play in Vancouver, Canada, of people rioting and burning things when their team lost or when people's teams win. Large areas in major cities of Brazil being burned, or fans in Los Angeles burning things and beating people over the head and dragging folks out of their cars. Is this revolution? Are these people George Washington, Thomas Jefferson? Because according to many people, yes, this is revolution. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. No, it's not revolution when San Francisco Giants fans post on Craigslist, beat a Dodger day, encourage murder of a Dodgers fan. That's a quote. And Twitter is saying that they're going to continue to leave the accounts up of people who are calling for violence, burning, and looting on Twitter. Well, of course, Twitter was used to overthrow the old dictator Hosni Mubarak. It was used to then help put in the Muslim Brotherhood and oppress people even more. Because that's what the CIA and MI6 wanted. And now Twitter is being used over in England to coordinate the looting and robbing and burning, because the government's going to use it to ram through curfews and martial law rules and to shoot people on site for politically protesting. You see, this is a more drawn-out version of what happened in 1999 when, for 24 hours, the hired, warehoused anarchists were flown in by major foundations. I have it all on video in Police State 2, the takeover. The police on tape admitting they were ordered to stand down and let the looters attack and burn in Seattle so the news could say, why don't they do something? Why don't they stand up against them? So then the looters could pull back, move into a government building right next to the police department under police guard, flown in, and so the police could then attack old ladies who were part of the protest against the World Trade Organization. Now, that's all that's happening here. That's all that's happening here is the police stood down Sunday, they stood down Monday, they stood down Tuesday, and now David Cameron, that carbon tax promoting New World Order slime bag, is saying that we might use water cannons on a 24-hour notice. It's ridiculous. They know who these people are. They could have 3 days ago, off of positive IDs of thousands of these people, arrested them, put them on the news, made an example of them. But instead, they're going to let it get out of control, out of control, out of control, until finally the police start shooting people with real bullets. And then the precedent's going to be set not to shoot somebody trying to burn your house down. Not to shoot somebody trying to burn your house down. No. But shooting someone who goes and protests at the parliament. You know, for several years, you haven't been allowed to protest anywhere around parliament. I went there to peacefully speak on a bullhorn. And even though it was a week before the law went into place, they told me to leave or I'd be arrested. That's in Terror Storm, one of my films. If you tried to go down and burn areas of parliament, you would have been shot Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. But because the hooligans, that's all this is a branch of the soccer hooligans, because they're burning down 5-generation clothiers and 4-generation watch shops and 4-generation furniture shops, because they're dragging people out of their cars at barricades and beating them up. Because that's happening, the police are standing down to let this get out of hand so the giant police state the British government has set up, the UK government has set up, can be dropped down like a hammer vice on the public of England. And so I agree with Steve Watson from one angle. If you're just looking at this in a two-dimensional way, knee-jerk calls for army on London streets to shoot looters on sight. Well, that would mean somebody out after dark, wouldn't it? But then it goes on. The member of parliament said, time to get tough, bring in the army, shoot looters and arsonists on sight. Arsonists should be shot on sight. And people attacking fire department people, already risking their lives, battling fires with women jumping out of it, they should be shot. That's attempted murder. Setting fires to people's houses and business is an act that could kill a lot of people. If I ran up to you with a burning torch and said, I'm going to set you on fire, would you have a right to defend yourself? Absolutely. But see, this is the psychological manipulation to where now they're going to hold back, not do what they're supposed to do. Did you tell me we had him because I didn't hear you? Okay, good. Thank you. Great. Because I didn't hear anything over the mic. What's going on here is very simple at one level, but also very sophisticated. It's problem, reaction, solution. And you've got generation after generation of people dependent on welfare. You've got globalism. You've got deindustrialization. You've got people living on subsistence level, handouts. You've got a middle class scared of the giant swelling underclass. And you've got the social engineers who've all got their mountain retreats outside of England, outside of Europe, outside of the U.S., sitting back and manipulating the whole thing.